At this time, we're preparing to read from the Torah, the first reading for this Torah portion. I invite our president, Satisky, to make his way here up onto the bima. We're going to begin our Torah reading on page 100 in your Machzorim. Before we do so, we have an introduction to the Torah reading and a bit of explanation on how our shul is doing this year and this new year. From our president, we're grateful to have here, Satisky. Vakasha.
Shana Tova.
Shana.
I'm honored and humbled to be greeting and speaking to you today as your new president. I must say, when I was approached and asked to serve as president, I was a little nervous at the awesome responsibility of one, trying to help guide Beth Meyer out of a pandemic or through a pandemic, and two, trying to preserve and improve upon everything that has made this synagogue so special for so long. It is fair to say my presidency has been a roller coaster in this short time. On day one, I was given the nuclear codes. On day two, I was told where the aliens were buried. All exciting stuff, let me tell you. But then on day three, I learned that the air conditioning unit in this sanctuary had finally given out. Then, of course, Delta variant started wreaking havoc, and to top it off, COVID recently struck the Solomon household, which has made all of us have to readjust our expectations and our plans. What can I say? Life is indeed unpredictable. Just a month ago, we thought we were coming out of this pandemic and that life was getting back to normal. Then once again, we realized that while man plans, God laughs. But we are where we are, and I'm happy that we're all together today on this Rosh Hashanah, some here in person, others watching remotely, but all of us sharing this service together. Rabbi Charlie Schwartz, the Senior Director of Jewish Education at Hillel International, calls Rosh Hashanah a time of reflection, reset, and reevaluation, and a time to think about what you want to do differently and what you want to achieve in the upcoming year. Thus, the concept of change is an integral part of Rosh Hashanah, and we as a synagogue should not be afraid of it. Look how much has changed at Beth Meyer over the years. When my grandfather was a child living in Zebulon, his family regularly made the trip to downtown Raleigh for services by horse and buggy. When I was a child here at Beth Meyer, there were only 4 kids in my bar mitzvah class. We had only one building, no preschool. We didn't even have a parking lot. When I was studying for my bar mitzvah, Rabbi Schoen recorded portions of my Haftorah on an old green cassette tape, for those who know what that is. And worse, as we waited to be picked up from Hebrew school, our only video game was some console consisting of 3 red dots. Now look at where we are. We have not one but 2 buildings, including our own mikveh. We have not one but 2 rabbis, including our first female rabbi. We have a membership of almost 500 families. We have a multitude of learning opportunities for all age groups. We have truly become a welcoming and forward-thinking congregation. Look, it's been a difficult year indeed, that cannot be doubted, but I think we've accomplished several things, especially in the area of hiring key personnel. We hired Jonathan Wertheim as our operations director, and he has brought forth great ideas so far and has already helped our board think more strategically and to work more effectively. We renewed Rabbi Eric and Jenny's contracts, thank goodness. We fortunately promoted Kathy Kaplan as Director of Religious School and Family Programs. We hired Lauren Isaacs as Communications Manager, and I assume everyone is enjoying how great the Hamagi looks these days. We also hired Samantha Gottlich, our new programming coordinator, who is also doing a great job so far. Another neat thing, we accepted and have displayed the memorial tablets of the recently closed Rocky Mount and Lumberton synagogues, and thus we are now the inheritor and legacy bearer of those congregations. Well, while we've made progress, we know we're not perfect and that there's always room for improvement. If nothing else, this past year has given everyone a chance to reboot, to have a fresh start, to reevaluate the way that we have been doing things, to see if we can do things differently and see if they work a little better. We've already started making some changes this year. Notably, as you read in the High Holidays Guide, we started moving away from the selling of honors, aliotes, seats, and parking spaces. We just felt that eliminating preferential practices demonstrated community commitment to Jewish teachings and values. We amended our bylaws to try to improve the way we operate as a synagogue and as a board. We've invested heavily in technology to allow our members the flexibility to participate remotely in services, religious school, and our other offerings. We will also look for other changes in the years to come that we believe will benefit our congregation. Look, we know that change can be scary and unpredictable. How do you think Sarah felt when she learned she was going to have to bear Abraham's child at age 90?
Exactly.
I've already heard from a number of members. Some approve of the changes we're making, some don't. That's okay. I'm always happy to listen. It just means our members care deeply about our synagogue. A friend and fellow congregant told me recently that he doesn't agree with everything that we're doing, but he refuses to complain because he doesn't want to be made to volunteer. Let me make you a promise. I will not make you volunteer as the price to pay for voicing a complaint or a disagreement. But I would encourage you to remember Hakarat HaTov, or noticing the good. This means that while it's okay to voice disapproval, it is also encouraged that you tell us when we're doing something that you do approve. Also remember that most, if not all, of the decisions that we make are reversible. If the choices we make as a board or as a congregation don't turn out the way we hoped, we can always change back. In any event, I think we have a great group of trustees this year, and I look forward to a productive 2 years of my presidency. We plan to finally update our strategic plan. I know while it feels we're stuck in the mud with the pandemic, that doesn't mean that we can't and don't need to plan for the future. We're going to restart our endowment campaign, and we're going to find more and new ways for us all to connect, hopefully in person. Look, I don't have all the answers, but I do think in this new year, we should do everything we can to re-engage with our community and with our synagogue. I would especially encourage all of you to attend as many synagogue-sponsored events as you can. Also, if you want to do something neat, have my father give you a walking and speaking tour of the marvelous architectural features of this building. It's actually pretty fascinating. As if I have to remind you, being Jewish is not always easy. It actually takes hard work and sometimes thick skin. Judaism is seemingly under attack from all sides these days. Just look outside of our building. We have Raleigh police officers standing guard together with our dedicated team of CSS volunteers. Don't get me wrong, we're fortunate to have this protection, but let's be honest, you don't see this apparatus at most Christian churches. Now more than ever, we must rally around and generously support our local Jewish institutions. Most importantly, our synagogue and our federation. These are the institutions that can be counted on to provide us with a safe and welcoming space. We must also accept more of what unites us rather than divides us. But with all that, I am still cautiously optimistic for the new year. And though it sounds cliche, we can achieve great things, but only if we do it together and not be afraid of change. I want to thank you all for your continued membership, volunteerism, and support. And may this be a sweet year for all of us.
Amen. Amen. Shana Tova.